Golf fans, welcome. Thanks for joining me for another episode of Podcast and Regulation. I'm your host, RP, and today is Wednesday, February 26th. So we'll be recapping the Mexico Open, the Magical Kenya Open, the LPGA Honda Thailand from this past weekend, and we will be getting into the HSBC. For the women's side, we have the Investec South African Open Championship, that's a mouthful, and we have the Cognizant this weekend for the PGA. As always, appreciate the downloads, the comments, the emails, the subscriptions. That's always nice to see. Slow and steady climb for me as we try to build this up and become at least a little bit of an expert when it comes to golf and gambling, especially on the LPGA and DP World Tour side. So again, appreciate all that. You can follow my picks and you can follow any updates, live bets, things of that nature on the Facebook fan page, Podcast and Regulation, or you can catch all the picks coming up for the weekend on Twitter and on Instagram at Pod and Regulation. Okay, so jumping into the recap, coming into this week, bankroll was sitting at $1,242.92 and the overall record 15-38. So starting off with the Mexico Open, we had one pick in the top 40, that's Quade Cummins. We had been tracking him since Corn Ferry. Payout on that was $12.92. He finished T32 at 10 under. And I missed the next two with the top 40. Rico Hoey missed the cut. And Kevin Yu finishes at T45. The two middle rounds hurt him quite a bit. Shoots a 67, but then 71, 70, and then back to a 68 on round 4. So close, no cigar. Top 20, we had Michael Kim. We hit that one. He finished T13 at 13 under, and the payout was $16.90. And Jake Knapp, who it hurt round 2, shoots a 74. Shoots a 72. The rest of the days were great. He finishes 11 under, so obviously not too far from even Michael Kim, who we hit on. Jake Knapp finishes in T25. Top 10 miss, Sam Stevens. He was a plus 300. He misses the cut outright. He finished day 1 and 2, 73, 79 respectively. And then Aaron Rye did get us some, good points, good money in the one and done. So I'll gladly take that considering how I've started that season and that year. But not too shabby right there. And then on to the Magical Kenya Open. Missed the top 40 pick with Ashen Wu. He went 71-76. The big disappointment for me, or one of two, and you'll hear the other one later, top 30 pick for Joust Louten. Missed cut, finished 68, and he shot a 71-72. I'm not sure what happened there. I watched, there was nothing spectacularly bad with his game, but he wasn't converting either, so that's essentially where he got left behind. And then top 20 picks, Joe Dean. Missed that. He finishes 28th, so he didn't have a horrible tournament. Actually followed up with a fairly decent performance, but not good enough for us to win. His first round is really what did him in. He shot a 72, and the rest of the time went pretty low and played pretty well, especially keeping the theme of his season. He's no longer a sleeper. He's solid. Is he a sleeping giant? That's yet to be seen, but a name that we had used last year and will continue to use this year. The one that hit within the top 20 was Richard Govea. Really happy about that. I did want to go back to the well on him and make sure that last miscut, that last poor performance was just a hiccup and a one-off. But probably could have ended up even better. His round 3 was a 73. So finished right on the number of 20th at 7 under, and the payout was $13.30. And last but not least, the top 10 finishes that I had taken for the Magical Kenya Open, Eugenio Chacarro missed. He was at 20th, never had a really bad blow-up of any sort, and he never really went super low. He was just consistent, obviously with a 20th finish, but not good enough for where we took him. And as I had mentioned, in terms of disappointments, this was the big one behind Joust Louten was Brandon Robinson Thompson. Finished 41st. Nothing horrible. That might have been one of his lesser performances of the year, finishing 4 under. But I had big things for him, at least within the scope of betting weekend, and that just did not work out. And then the LPGA Honda Thailand, we only did the prop bets for 4 groupings. Hit the first one with a Yakafurue. The payout was $22.42. Between Jasmine Sawanapura and Lauren Coughlin, she shot a 69, and then the other two, 71.72 for the former and latter. Then we pushed on Yulimi No. We got $6 back, so essentially minus a juice. She tied with Arya Jatanagarn, and Lynn Grant shot a 71. Missed the Heiran Ryu pick. She shot a 74, so she was actually the highest of the grouping. Brooke Henderson shot a 70, and Shinetti Wanasan shot a 68. And the final grouping was Lilia Vu, who shot a 76. Jin Young Ko, who we did take at plus 105, shot the 67. And Yuka Sazo shot a 69. So great first day for Yuka even there. Can't really turn the page and start betting on her, but that's a really good sign at least. Her kind of similar to any other golfer that I've mentioned already. The ups are great, the downs are disappointing, and they leave me a little less inspired to pick them the next time around. But with that last grouping, the payout was $17.42. Alright, let's jump into the previews. Alright, didn't think it would take that much time, but obviously it did just to get through the recap, so without wasting time, we'll just jump into the Cognizant. Fades list, pretty quick. Sepp Straka, Russell Henley, Taylor Pendrith, and Shane Lowry. If anything, these guys are just, their low points are too low, and the value or the money that you'll be throwing at them to get them on your team or for a payout, not worth the squeeze, at least for me. If anything, one guy on there, Russell Henley, would be a great first day bet, whether it's first round leader or finishing in the top 20 for day one. But overall, game-wise, I just don't think his game at the moment can sustain through 4 rounds of holding such a lead, or at least keeping himself relevant on the leaderboard. And then faves, we have Danny McCarthy, we have Daniel Berger, Nikolai Højgaard, and Alex Smalley. Berger, I think, will be a popular pick with a lot of people in office pools, one and done, as well as daily fantasy. I haven't looked at salary range there for him, but one would assume that he's going to be up there, and he very well could come out and win it. So maybe that's where you do throw a majority of your money when looking at these lists. I don't know in any particular order how much I'm going to be putting down on these bets, but to finish in the top 40, I'm taking Daniel Berger, so another bet on him, minus 175, and I'm taking Nikolai Højgaard in the top 30. It's plus 150. Taking Alex Smalley with a plus 240 to finish in the top 20. And then I'm taking Denny McCarthy with a plus 550 odd to finish in the top 5. Not going to go into the metrics or statistics for what's needed at the Cognizant, so we'll just kick off and head towards the Investec South African Open Championship. All right. For the Investec, this is going to be a really interesting one. I'm going to throw a lot of names out there in the faves column, mainly because they're local, the familiarity, and course history, because a lot of these South African players who do play end up cycling through these on a regular basis, so familiarity will be a big thing. How it translates from Sunshine Tour to this, there's no real correlation other than the fact that they generally at least are in the middle of a pack. So it's just a matter of, can they break through for us or for you when you're picking top 20, 30, or 40. So in terms of faves, a guy who has already made some waves, we have John Perry, Laurie Cantor, who I've bet on quite a bit this year, Sean Norris, Daniel Van Tonder, who's won 12 times on the Sunshine Tour, Kanine de Wietse, who we saw last year, and again, this realm, this part of the world, he plays pretty well enough to warrant a bet. See if he makes that final cut for me at least. And then we have Jean Hugo, Jacques Blow, Nikhil Rama, JC Ritchie, Dean Burmester, who I believe may make some waves in this one, where you'll see in a second with the final bets that I'm putting in. And then Hao Tong Lee. So I'm coming back to him after he won a couple weeks ago. The fades, you'll recognize some of these names from a few weeks ago when I did bet on them. Alejandro Del Rey, Dylan Fratelli, Casey Jarvis, Scott Jameson, and Romain Langasque. Kind of in the similar vein of the PGA, I just don't know if I can trust them. Their ups are great, their downs are frustrating, and just not worth the time and effort to have to stress over them. So, bet-wise, again, you won't see or you won't hear me tell you how much is going on, but Haotong Lian's at top 40 is a minus 143. JC Ritchie is a plus 105. Jean Hugo is a plus 210. And Jacques Blau is a plus 200. So all those in the top 40. Then one bet for me in the top 30 is Laurie Cantor. He's minus 160. Top 10s, I actually am going somewhat of the dark horse sleeper way of picking. We are going with Daniel Van Tonder at plus 375 and Sean Norris at plus 400. And to round it off, top 5 picks. 1, Dean Burmester at plus 275. And then John Perry, who I think this could be a really good one at plus 600. That'll do it for that tournament. Let's move on to the on to the LPGA. All right, try to get this last little bit in. The one that I love watching, HSBC, the women's side, LPGA. It's the second or even the third leg over on that side of the world for the ladies. We're going to start off with the fades. You'll know some of these names. They're pretty familiar, but they're just at a point, even the defending champ, that I am going to wait on to catch on the uptick. But that being said, Heiran Ryu, Runing Yin, Lydia Ko, Hannah Green, the defending champion, and Angel Yin. I don't think there's anything there other than a little bit of a letdown, so I just don't want to take Angel Yin in any of those spots yet, even if it is, 6-shooter or 3-ball. Now for the faves, you'll see a lot more of these. These are the names I had mentioned before, kind of on my watch list, whether they're rookies or they're just playing really well from the end of last season and have continued it into the 2025 season. Rio Takeda, Miranda Wang. She is an exception as well. I think she'll play really well in this, but she was exempt, so she was an invite. Miyu Yamashita, Gino Thirikol, everyone knows that one. Jin Young Ko, Alim Kim, and Yilimi No. So out of all those faves, quite a few of them are going in the bet book this week. I am lucky enough that we are now experiencing a little bit of a far-reaching type of betting where I'm using it is allowing me to bet through the top 20. So that being said, Miranda Wang, the exemption, I'm taking her in the top 20 at plus 420. And then I'm taking Rio Takeda, who has just had a really good all-round season. Someone you can count on, someone you can bet on, and not feel like there's too big of a letdown. She's even cracked the top 10, so it always makes me feel good there. So yeah, minus 125 for her there. And then the two top 10s that I'm putting in are actually teammates and have been paired with each other, or at least selected each other for the Dow Championship last year. Alim Kim is plus 225 to finish in the top 10, and Yilimi No is a plus 225. So pretty happy about those two. I think those are going to be really strong ones come the weekend. And then the top 5, see if I can get this right. It's happened once before. Let's see if I can get 3 out of the 5. Gino Thirikol at plus 125, Jin Young Ko at plus 250, and then I am taking Miyu Yamashita at plus 330. I think she's due for, can't say really a breakout because we're getting familiar with that name this season, but for a top 5, I think she may be primed for it, and this may be a really good spot. So taking her on the uptick, she's already had a few pretty good performances in the 2025 season. I think this might be a really good spot to take her. That'll do it. No on the clock. I was unfortunately against time here. So enjoy the picks. Have a great weekend. Good luck to you. Fade me or play with me, but just know that, hey, these are just my picks. It's a gut feeling, and do what you want with them. Guys, good luck. Hopefully you make a lot of money this weekend, and I will catch you next Wednesday. Later.